for AEW news. So Josh Matthews was there at AEW All in Texas. I'm glad to see him. He's a mind of the business who's been around for a long time, and it's good to see him there. We also talked about Adam Cole, like, retired. I might have a clip of it quickly, but Mercedes Mone, Alfred Kunowa pointed this out. She wore the names of all of her victims leading up to the Toni Storm match, the same way Undertaker had caskets for each of his victims leading up to when he lost the streak, right? The night they ended the streak, Konoha caught that, and yeah, they ended Mone's streak. She lost. And yeah, the people crying about, I mean, I'm sure in a perfect world, that's not what they really wanted to do. I don't think Tony wanted to do that, but I think they're catching on to, like, okay, the fans are really, like, even AEW fans are calling her Mercedes Hogan and shit. We need to do something about this. And her dropping the belt, or her, I mean, not capturing the belt, I don't think that's the end of the Monet belt collecting thing. In fact, I think Athena could cash in, win the women's world from Toni Storm, and then have the ROH and AEW titles, and then Monet will get both off Athena at the same. And then Tony can go and rematch both of them down the line eventually, you know, because that's a match hopefully AEW wants to return to. Like, there's some money in Storm versus Monet, I think. I just think this was like probably a last minute pivot for Tony, honest to God, Tony Khan. Unless it isn't, and this is proof that Monet got all of her victims on her cape like well in advance. But I could see them maybe not. Like, his plan was probably Monet wins it all in, but I just think who knows if it was a month or two, like, they caught wind of the internet sentiment, and Mercedes doesn't want to be called Mercedes Hogan. She's saying she wants to elevate women's wrestling. And again, the whole creative control, and she's walking into CMLL and telling people what to do. That's dumb, and I've defended her on this, so I'm blue in the face. I'm not going to do it more, but she can't do that. And yes, these dirt sheets have the one-up on JD, because guess what? If Monet's booked on your hog show, and if Undertaker came to your show and said, I don't want Joe Tessitore on the show, they're not going to put Joe Tessitore on the show. That's how it works. He walks into an indie, I don't want JD on the show. You're off the show. You're not as important as the wrestlers. You're not a draw. You're drawing nobody to this show. No one's here to see JD. At the end of the day, and I don't like that you're getting fired off your gigs or whatever. But at the end of the day, she has pull in the business, and her creative control. If it comes down to, like, her and Moxley gets the say. If it comes down to her and Yuta, Monet gets the say. If it comes down to her and Queen Aminata, Monet gets the say. If it comes down to her and Trish Stratus shows up in AEW, Trish Stratus going to have the say, okay? So it's just, that's how it works. And people jump down Mercedes' throat for too long, but at the same time, that's Tony's fault. That's nobody else's fault. Yeah, she lost, and there you go. It was an ode to The Undertaker there a little bit. Again, we just have, like, how unserious the media scrums are. MJ from NJ, check this out. Righteous Reg said to Hangman Adam Page, this is an exact question or quote. He says, Hangman, you were counted out multiple times on your way up to the AEW World Championship. The Owen Hart tournament, a lot of people were like, this is Ospreay's tournament to win. And going into this match, people were like, the odds are all against you. How did you stay grounded and on the vision of what you needed to do? So it's like, are you guys part of the show? Like, is this all kayfabe, or is this like a shoot, man? Like, pick one or the other, get rid of these cringe things, man. It's just so ridiculous. What do you make of that being a question?
It's so dumb that I'm going to take this as an opportunity to plug a clip I saw where that same dude was with the Hurt Syndicate, and they were roasting him. I don't know. I think these people just live in a kayfabe world. We've talked about this before. I don't even know that they're aware of how stupid it is to ask these questions. I don't know that they're aware how stupid and what a waste of time the entire press scrum was. Tony Khan wasted everyone's time with just, like, filibustering. But yeah, the same people that, you know, cry foul when people ask questions at the WWE ones, they're the ones that are actually doing this at the AEW ones. I don't know. These people are weird. I'm glad they enjoy AEW. I can't imagine that too many people in AEW think they're that cool. But, you know, whoever's going to give you the attention, I guess you go where the attention is.
So AEW All In surpasses WrestleMania 35 as the longest wrestling pay-per-view. And again, this is a thing that WWE, people would cry on WWE for doing, is having these 7-hour-long events. I mean, I did it too before I had a show, and they already switched it to 2 nights and stuff by the time I had a pod and everything. But yeah, man. So it's just funny that this is like a celebrated fucking thing when AEW does it. Tony Khan confirms that moving forward, the AEW Unified Championship will be defended under continental rules, meaning defenses will have 20-minute time limits and interference will be strictly prohibited. Okada and Omega's title unification match at All In was fought under the unified rules of AEW. What a dumb fuck. I'm so sorry, Tony. There's no unified rules because you've never established
Best
them.
guys, Tony Khan.
There's no fucking the continental rules. So then why wasn't it just for the continental belts? It's like, this is stupid. This is fucking stupid, and you're dumb. And kiss these guys' feet that they had a fucking solid match for you, buddy. That they had a really solid fucking veteran match for you on that card and didn't completely fucking, like gave us something on there where we're like, pro wrestling, don't fucking like thank those guys and just shut up, for real, because that's all dumb and you're dumb. Love you, but you're dumb. Okay, that was dumb. Here is Toni Storm at the press conference.
Mercedes Money, thank you for making me a better wrestler and a better woman.
So there was a spot where Toni Storm ate out Mone.
And for keeping your lips clean, all 4 of them. You taste great.
So again, I knew this was gonna happen. Just like, I don't know. It's like MJF doing the, oh yeah, I got a little tiny kosher pickle. Yeah, fat ass. It's just so it's just cringy. And with Toni Storm, she is funny. She's awesome. But every time she's just now going to throw in my butthole's aching. Like, it's just going to be some just say, ooh, some 6th grader shit. Say something that everyone's going to clip. And, it's just cringe to me. And Adam Cole, I hope that he had this to say with tears in his eyes. And I hope he's okay. I don't want to even see him come back to wrestling. I don't at all whatsoever. And maybe Vince knew something we didn't about him being a bald-headed manager or something, right? I don't know. But I'm praying for him, man, and I hope he's okay. And Seth, too, man. If that injury's real, that's fucked.
I don't even want to think about talking about retiring because I am not in the right headspace, but I wanted to have this opportunity to come out and talk to you all if this is indeed goodbye, because you are the best damn wrestling fans in the world.
It should just be goodbye, Adam Cole. Man, you're not going to get more peak than what you did when he first came into AEW. It was super fun, some of the shit he was doing. And in the black and gold NXT, bro, you did it all. And in Ring of Honor, you had great shit. You did it all, man.
I have a lot to say about this Adam Cole situation.
I just really hope he's okay, man. I really, really do. What do you have to say?
Have you seen the reports that they apparently did not know he was going to be unavailable and or suffering concussion-related symptoms until Saturday morning?
Yeah, he wrestled 2 days before All In, bro. Or whatever, 3 days before All In, yeah.
Give me a second so I can try to get this all out coherently. But the Khan family, all right, Tony Khan, his father Shad Khan, they are one of 32 owners of an NFL team. Yep. There is not an organization in the world, professional sports related, that has more strict and is under more of a microscope when it comes to concussion related injuries, in so much that they pull players from the biggest of games because they take a hit and somebody says that didn't look right and they put them into protocol. Meanwhile, we have now had situations in AEW, all right? An accident is an accident, an exception is an exception, but you have multiple incidents where talent have suffered concussions, been allowed to continue working, been allowed to continue to take bumps to the head.
Yeah.
We've had incidents like Hook where the pro wrestling media and so-called journalists gaslight the viewers to say what you saw is not what you saw, and then get corrected by the talent.
Yep.
They did suffer a concussion.
Yes. I've heard they have shit and the medical in AEW.
Allegedly.
Shit. That's just what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not a dirt sheet, but I've heard it's so bad that
this is something that is starting to add up. That is unacceptable. It needs to become a mainstream story that an owner of an NFL team also owns a professional wrestling company that seemingly does not give one fuck about health and safety and concussion-related injuries, because you cannot tell me that under nobody monitored Adam Cole. This guy had a concussion and was out for nearly a year, which he spoke about. They made it part of his return of how hard his recovery was and how he was disabled. And he comes back, and within weeks of coming back, he takes a buckle bomb on an apron that looked bad, then is put into a situation where he's taking bumps before this all-in match. There is no care for this guy. And it's objectively, as a fan of watching wrestling, all right, I don't want to watch a product where I have to wonder, am I going to watch this until somebody gets paralyzed or damn near dies for entertainment of people who don't care about their safety, despite being online pretending like they do.
Right, and say what you will about WWE, but even Vince, like the safety of wrestlers was like his main fucking thing, man. Like that was a huge thing. Now, like way back in the day, everyone worked hurt, pal. Well, yeah, you had to. Like we're talking once it went public and shit, their main thing was, and that's just it. It's a private company, so no one cares. But
the NFL has evolved. I bring up the NFL because, again, one of 32 families that own a team. All right.
Did you know that that the Jaguars also failed with an F in a study done by ESPN? I covered it on the show for player family dynamic, as far as like, you know, after a Jaguars game, the Jaguars got to go to they got to like walk out in the parking lot and look for their fucking families, you know, like they don't have, you should look this up, MJ. You'll find it quite interesting. I covered it on the show. They failed the fucking, the family management study or whatever that ESPN did, which is pretty crazy. Speaking of which, though, like we have the Cagematch ratings I told you about, so there you go, all in Texas. But another thing they sort of fail at, apparently, according to Paradigm, so this is Nick LoPiccolo. So he's a talent agent at Paradigm, head of the sports group, and co-head of content finance, okay? And he doesn't directly represent CM Punk, but I believe CM Punk's with Paradigm, right? If I'm not mistaken, and I might be wrong about that, but either way, a bunch of wrestlers are represented by Paradigm and whatnot. And he oversees the sports or whatever. He talks about how pretty much at one of these Full Gear events, and then I think they were talking about this most recent AEW show as well, comparing it. So we're going down a bit of an inception. Trishy and Tiffy are cooking, though. But AIR Gold put out some bullshit saying like, oh, this guy represents Punk or whatever, and he deleted it because he's a dumb fuck. And Switchblade's like, and who do you represent? And then
you know why he deleted it? No, because Nick responded back, thanks for the promotion. Like, yes, I do represent very successful, talented wrestlers. Thank you for letting people know that I am an agent for wrestlers. Please contact me. He is a dumb fuck. Dude, he is one of the dumbest fucks. I'm sorry. I'm done making fun of certain people. He is a dumb fucking fuck.
Yeah, dude. I just mute. You just don't pay attention to AR Gold, bro. That's like, that should not even be anyone even responds.
Well, I felt bad because they very much singled him out and tried to team up on him for not nefarious reasons. But like, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, dumb fucks are dumb fucks.
Well, I don't know. He's just a scumbag dude, and then people want to slime you. Like when you're slimy, people want to slime you out, dude. That's what you see time and time again. And the IWC is just mentally ill people, bro. And they're all fucking like, there's a section of the IWC where they just all like, they're not even doing wrestling anymore. They're just talking about fucking, they're all just trying to like expose each other, and they're all marks for themselves and shit. Can't fall into that stuff. Anyways, this guy says standing by this. So sounds like the dopes are finding out what people in the entertainment industry really think of AEW and are having a hissy fit. Okay, now I try to bring this to light to so many people. Okay, Tiffy landed on fucking Trishy's head, and she was all good, though. She gave Jessica Carr the Iggy, but that looked nasty. But yeah, Tiffy is a full-blown heel. Everybody cheers her, and she defended her title. And that was a fucking amazing match, actually. I got to be perfectly fucking honest. But okay, anyways, rewind. Nick LoPiccolo responds and said, most in entertainment don't even know it exists. At Full Gear 23, they invited execs to the Forum. The Forum Club, which is normally always a premium VIP experience, had no food and bartenders, and we laughed at the cheap setup. Many left and never came back. What the fuck? Look at that. That's what Tony does. So look, we continue along. He quote tweeted and said, "Forget about leaving money on the table. TK didn't even leave food on the table for his VIP guests." So this guy says, "I didn't go to that show, but it was a big show for AEW. If I recall, it was their first LA show. What a wasted opportunity." And Nick LoPiccolo says, "All execs love free stuff and exclusive experiences. Facts. Asking them to drive over an hour to Inglewood for Forum Club access, then delivering no food, no drinks, no curated access, and terrible seats is a missed opportunity at best and incompetent at worst. They're doing indie pro wrestling shit. They don't really know what they're doing in football either." Okay, Shad Khan invented the bumper for the modern vehicle and is now his family owns sports teams and shit.
You ever see the movie Tommy
Trish,
Boy?
Thank you, Trish Chance, ringing out as she may retire. That could have been her last match. I bet we get her at another Mania or something. But so Nick LoPiccolo says, "Many of us brought kids to the show. I saw other execs get told their kids couldn't meet the talent. And when we finally got to our seats, 5 or 6 rows from the top of the arena, it was anything but a family-friendly section, and there was a death match." So, guys, this is what Hollywood, here, he says this as well. He says, "The most valuable commodity to high-level LA execs is their time. You already burn 90 minutes." Guys, this is why elevator pitch is a thing, right? And I know this, too. When you have to pitch yourself or pitch to someone, you don't have all day to fucking do it. Everything's fast, and it's cutthroat, dude. Like, the way people cry about getting criticized in the wrestling business and denied and rejected in the wrestling business, try going in the acting business, dude. Try going to Hollywood and making it. Holy fuck. But he says, "You already burned 90 minutes asking them to drive to Inglewood, find parking, and search for the right entrance. And then think about it, they get in there, and it's typically a VIP experience. They don't even have food or drinks for you, and you're trying to impress them. Now imagine they invited Kendrick Lamar to come to the show. You know what I mean? Like, how would they have fucking accommodated him?" So anyways, Forum Club wristbands were handed out at a folding table nowhere near the usual private lot access. So the Forum Club wristbands were being handed out, so these VIP execs had to go with the regular folks and get their tickets. And I know some people might think that, like, "Oh, what are you complaining that you didn't get the rich guy privilege access?" Well, kind of, like, why is Tony inviting these execs there? And then because he doesn't want TV deals and shit like that, you know what I mean? So people got to understand, Tony really thinks that if Dynamite came on instead of Raw one Monday, they'd steal all their fans and then some. Dave Meltzer's convinced of that. These people want to be mainstream like the WWE. Dude, Leilani Kai is in the fucking crowd. Amazing. At the end of the day, this guy just tells you, like, that's what it was like. So imagine this all-in show. Why would any bigwigs in Texas... Like, how, I don't know. It just shows you, I mean, this guy's speaking LA, and that's important because we're talking about the Hollywood and the mainstream sort of aspect to it, you know. But this is why people speculate. Metro Boomin wants some more in the crowd. But this is why people think that Chris Jericho wants to return to WWE as well, because, you know, he's in airports and shit. Lil Yachty, Lil Boat's in the house. You know, people are asking Chris Jericho. Lil Yachty gets recognized, I'm sure, almost everywhere. You know, Jericho's in the airport and people are like, "When are you coming back to WWE? When are you coming back to wrestling?" He's like, "I'm in AEW." And they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And a guy did that on Jericho's podcast, MJ. A guy, I forget his name. He's like a famous singer guy. He has like millions of fucking fans online, I guess. And this guy was on Jericho's pod and he's like, "Oh yeah, so like when you coming back to wrestling? Like what's AEW and shit?" He had no clue. And Conan speculated, you know, Jericho, and he knows Jericho. And he's like, "Dude, I think Jericho will be in WWE." He's like, "It happened to me when TNA was the thing. When you're in the airport and people are saying, who's, you know, are you still wrestling? Where's the Wolfpack?" And he's like, "I'm in TNA." And they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Jericho's dealing with that too, man. And he sees the business. You think Jericho and Fozzy wouldn't like to be doing shows in Vegas on WrestleMania weekend and being a part of Fanatics and all that shit? You don't think Jericho wouldn't enjoy making a new song with Fozzy, making it his new theme for WWE and having it be a #1 hit record again? You don't think he'd enjoy that? Like, come on, man. It's all part of the show. And yeah, Hollywood sort of, I guess they don't take AEW serious at all. Let's be perfectly honest. And again, this isn't to shit on or boo them, but it's just perception. And I think Tony's catching on to that, actually. And I think that's why this show, this All In, wasn't riddled with glass spots and fucking dumbass. Everything was a death. We had blood in the pre-show and we got blood at the fucking, they saved it for the Moxley Hangman match. And I think that's why you're seeing more. He's trying to Hollywood it up a bit. And that's why now, we'll do a residency and film a bunch of now we'll listen to Phil Marks, now we'll fucking do it. Cause I'm starting to realize, WBD shit's not looking good. Thank God Superman is, people will debate how good it's doing, but I think it's doing fine. I think it'll make money, at least. Hopefully it hits $1 billion. Who knows? But I think it'll make money. But either way, we'll see how it all plays out. Like mid 2026 will be very telling. Tony, I think he's starting to feel on his back foot a bit, which is what I've been saying he needs. Never in his life has he ever been put on his back foot. And I think he needs that I think if Collision gets canceled, that's egg on his face. He'll never be like Rampage and Collision canceled. I don't know how they explain that, So I think that he's going to get not desperate, but I think let's face it, All In. They are focusing on their core guys, like doing all the shit your boy Phil said they should be doing for 2 years. And now he's doing it and the sickos are eating it up. This is the best. The feeling's back. Well, you're welcome. This is all you're trying to say that you guys need to do more of. And you're starting to do it. And hopefully, and people will say, oh, Hollywood doesn't take AEW serious. MJF's in a fucking, there's outliers to everything. There's people with fucking their hearts born outside their chests. We don't discuss the world as though everyone has their hearts outside their chest. You guys get what I'm saying? Yes, MJF's an outlier. He's a star no matter where he goes in wrestling. The guy's going to be a star. Right? It's like Blake Monroe. She's going to be a star. AEW, WWE, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's my rant on that. And just as somebody who's worked on like the creative side of I've written a thing. It's difficult and it's hard to be taken seriously when you're in the fucking bit. If you're a fucking actor, like I'm an actor, it's hard to be taken. I'm a writer. No writers get taken seriously. You know what I mean? So especially in that world. So let alone you're in the wrestling business and then you're the number 2. Imagine that they were saying Full Gear 23. So it's probably just like a deathmatch, bloodfest, stupid shit, gaga show they were doing 2 years ago. It seemed like every month they were having some fucking bed of nails, something exploding in someone's face or something. You got to think about that and how that affects them. Like in that world when WWE still doesn't get fully taken seriously. And it's starting to now. Finally, because the guys like Batista and Cena and The Rock went and fucking proved themselves. Like even Hogan didn't get taken seriously in Hollywood and wasn't a good actor. But after these dudes went and laid the fucking road, now we're seeing Cody Rhodes in movies and now we're seeing WWE covered in the mainstream again. And like, if you want that AEW, if AEW fans really want that shit, you're going to have to listen to Phil. You're going to have to bite the bullet and do Tony Khan's starting to, I feel like, hopefully, maybe this is just wishful thinking. But I hope he's feels like he's on his back foot a bit. And I hope he's feeling a bit of pressure for once in his life to like actually come through and do something and get this shit taken seriously, And I didn't like the spot with Hangman in the triangle choke, like stabbing Moxley in the head. I thought that was stupid. That was dumb as fuck and unneeded. That being said, though, at least they saved it all for the very last match of this big, huge pay-per-view. Like, let's face it, if Punk went out there with Rollins and in the main event of Mania Night 1 for the title, they're in a cage and we get a spot where a screwdriver hits a dude in the head and he's gushing, we'd all be like, this is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And it's the fact AEW does it all the time where, it's hard to give them the pass, but at least they saved it for the main event. If you isolate that event alone, and hopefully that means Tony Khan's waking up to the shit, and hopefully he's improved the executive experience over the last 2 years. You guys get what I'm getting at? That's my rant on it. What do you say, MJ? Anything to add?
I think more now than ever, I am noticing that AEW is catering to their hardcore audience. I mean, take the stuff that we saw in the Mone Toni Storm match, the comment that you just played from Toni Storm at the press scrum. That is very, very specific for a very, very targeted audience. I don't know that AEW has an ability anymore. And this is not a good thing for AEW, but this is a reality. All right, they have an audience that absolutely hates that WWE is successful. So how does AEW pivot to being successful like WWE?
They can't. They have to separate.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order to do so, you have to do things like bring in sponsorships, like really try to cater to Hollywood in order to develop the relationships you need, in order to develop the partnerships you need. And in doing so, that would be directly opposite what their fans seem to either want and or rather hate from WWE. And it puts AEW in a very, very tight spot. And this is years now of kind of been boiling or coming to a boil now. But I think that's a problem for AEW's ability to really grow, and therefore it may just be destined to be this niche product, like the agent was saying. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think that requires a change to how they perceive their kayfabe world.
Not to interrupt, but think about how they fucking blew up, like in that LA show, they fucked up and blew their shot with a bunch of people probably in that moment as well. That's what you don't understand. Like, it's so cutthroat that someone could have came to that show he invited and got no food and drinks, who's going to be in charge of very important shit for the next 8 years. And Tony just fumbled that. You know what I'm saying, MJ? Like, that's the problem. You get one shot a lot of times, you know? Like Eminem says.
Yeah, one chance to make a first impression.
Right.
And that small window of time that you have to make a first impression is going to last you much, much longer. And it's very hard to undo that, especially when people are not unfamiliar with the Jacksonville Jaguars trials and tribulations. I mean, it's the least desirable place for guys to go play. So when you see a Bill Simmons and you see others in the sports media, Chris Russo and others, ridicule the Jaguars, they're not doing it because they're afraid they're going to hurt someone's feeling. They're doing it because they're going to hurt nobody's feeling, because there's nobody outside a very select few people at Daly's place that actually think anything other than what they're saying. I am really, really disturbed by what seems to be the prevailing I'll say early because, stories in the dirt sheets are always subject to change. But if the early indications are what they seem to be, that Adam Cole is the one who approached AEW and that AEW seemingly didn't have an idea about this concussion after his history of concussions in their company. I think that this rises above pro wrestling and actually becomes something worth talking about because, again, you're talking about the Khan family, and they are one of 32 owners of an NFL team, and that shit's not a joke in that world. So why is it a joke or why is it fodder in pro wrestling?
Yep, there's no checks and boundaries and checks and balances, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more on Wednesday as well. And so,
I'm gonna send you something, and if you feel it's appropriate,
please,
feel free
if you
to cover it on Wednesday.
Please just DM me stuff like anything about sort of what you're talking about with the Adam Cole situation. Even if you want to write a little excerpt, even DM that shit to me or whatever. And I'll cover it more Wednesday because that's like when we're watching Dynamite and it's more topical, I think, and maybe even some more information will come out before then. You know what I'm saying?
It goes beyond the Adam Cole thing. Is the camel that breaks the straws, the straw that breaks the camel's back. It is a camel. Also.
It's the camel that power bombed him on the fucking apron head first.
But
come on, guys.
This is something that again, accidents are accidents. What happened with Seth yesterday, what we saw happen with JD McDonough when he had the flip, right, and that was an internal injury. Accidents are accidents, exceptions are exceptions, but when you see a noticeable pattern and you can start to point to multiple examples of things that that doesn't really pass the smell test, all right? And I'll give you an example. AEW is known as a place that if you have had to retire for previous neck or head-related injuries, that you will probably be cleared in AEW.
Yep.
And we watched Daniel Bryan wrestle for a year, having some of the most intense matches he's ever had, while he was telling us that his neck was as worse as it's ever been. And
Saraya was there too.
Saraya, Shibata. And if you look at the controls in place, all right, between talents being told to protect themselves, Adam Copeland jumps off a cage, breaks his leg at the age of 50. All right, a little different to recover at the age of 50 than 25. Adam Cole comes back from concussions and is taking buckle bombs on the apron, or whatever. I guess they're apron bombs. This is no longer something that is isolated. This is something that has become a systemic thing and is not a flaw. This is a feature. AEW features death-defying stunts. They feature intense matches and hard hitting, and they feature violence and violence and more violence. And at some point, we are all going to be watching a show, and something terrible is going to happen. And then all the people who seem to be gaslighting viewers and ignorant or blissfully ignorant to this now are going to act like they are the biggest talent safety merchants out there. And I want them all to go find themselves and then go fuck themselves, because they don't give a shit about talent safety. They give a shit about playing to a base that gives them money and subscribers and views. And at the end of the day, you're either about it or you're not. And this thing about Adam Cole is just the straw that breaks the camel's back for me, because there is no reason he has to go out this way except for the negligence and the lack of monitoring of a situation with a talent with a history. And that is what I have to. Sorry, I went long there.
No, that's fine.
Fired up. Like, it's fucking bullshit.
No, that's fine. And I was just gonna end it by going, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW news.
That is more than
guys, Tony
AEW news. This should be wrestling news. And if I have an ability to do anything in this space, I'm going to make sure that it rises to some levels of attention, because it's just fucking trash.